Gotta get that. Sorry, Gene.
Councilor Anderson,
Councilor Anderson, sorry.
That's made of wood, you know.
There you go.
Perishable.
That's a little better. Okay, we're back in session. We just got to get our technology going. So now we're being filmed. If anybody wants to sign off that they don't want to be filmed, let us know. Okay, so our first, we're in open. So the minutes of the previous meeting. And moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Turton. The minutes of the March 29th, 2016 council meeting be approved. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Okay. Now we're going into, we have to convene to a committee of adjustments. So moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Anderson. The Town of Minto Council convenes into committee of adjustments. All in favor? Okay. So now I have to read this, Gordy.
Yep.
Okay, bear with me here.
Sure.
Minor variance public meeting. I will call the public meeting to order and state any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits and no application is exactly the same. This is a public hearing to consider a minor variance application file number A1-16 Clint Byer. Byer? Is that right? Byer? Okay. Yep. I will call on to the Secretary Treasurer to discuss the following information. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Bridges. So the subject property is legally described as Part Lot 6, Concession 13, RP 60R2894, Part 4, municipally known as 9591 Woodwires Road, Town of Minto. The purpose and effect is to permit an increase in the combined maximum floor area of accessory structures to 1,320 square feet to allow the construction of a 1,200 square foot accessory structure in addition to the existing 120 square feet accessory structure on the subject property, whereas Section 6.1.4b of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 0186, as amended, permits a maximum combined floor area for all accessory structures of 1,000 square feet on the subject property. Notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on April the 5th. Posted on the subject property and circulated to staff on the same date, and the following comments were received from the Town of Minto Building Assistant, from Senior Planner, County of Wellington, Linda Redmond, Saugeen Valley, Environmental Planning Technician, Michael Oberl. Who's there?
Okay. I'll call on the applicant or agent comments from the comments of the county or town staff. So who's going to talk to? Mark?
Stacy?
Stacy?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, are you going to be after?
I don't really have to go.
Okay.
I think it's considered.
Okay.
Minor
All right.
variance.
That's good for you. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. There's not a lot to say, really. The purpose and effect really says it all. It's just to increase the size of accessory structures on the property, and there's no servicing your roads or anything. No one had any comments as far as the departments here go, and we support the application.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any comments from the applicant? Anybody in opposition? This is pretty simple, eh? Okay.
We
Yep.
like simple.
All right, then I will then state anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision to please sign the request of notice of decision prior to leaving the council chamber following the meeting. And I will call the meeting adjourned. And then we have to do that. Yeah. Okay. Get everybody sign this.
Yeah, please. Approving the motion?
Approving the motion. Do you want me to read this whole thing? You guys want me to read this approval? Okay. Thank you. That is piece is done.
There we are.
Okay. Public meeting.
So,
Do you want to do the French commercial one first?
well, let's see. I think we have to move into committee of the whole.
Okay, right, yeah, that's right. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Elliott, the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment convenes in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor? Okay, good. Now we're going. Oh,
Other
yeah,
business?
yeah. Any other? Well, I'm sure there would be.
3 weeks since we had our last meeting, so I might have a couple.
So we got the IPM by Ron.
I have one.
That's a virus.
Okay, and well, why don't we just say everybody has something to say? How's that? If you don't, then Gene, you'll have to make something up.
Okay.
I missed something in your last was it voted on to go with the approved?
Yes. Well, we're signing it. All in favor?
Going for the approval?
Opposed? I didn't hear anybody say anything negative, so
We got 4 out of 6.
Get those?
thank you for that, Deputy Clerk. See, once become Deputy Clerk, she's right on top of it. Stepping out now. The law
All right, so now we have a public meeting,
on highway.
and this is on the zoning. This one. Yeah, this is a dead DA.
That's the one.
Yep.
Okay, now we're having a public meeting. The public meeting is to consider the amendment of the Town of Minto zoning bylaw number 0186 for property located on Part Lot 68, Concession D, RP 61R-6644, Part 2, municipality known as 5509 Highway 9. I'll act as chair of the public meeting, and I'll call the meeting to order and request any member of the public present to sign the attendance record. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Minto before the bylaw is passed, persons or public bodies not entitled to appeal the decision of the Town of Minto to the Ontario Municipal Board, and the persons or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the board unless, in the opinion of the board, the reasonable grounds to do so. Turn over Deputy CAO Clerk Duff to state the municipal address and legal descriptions of the property and purpose and effect of the application. The date notice was sent.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bridge. This property, subject to the proposed amendment, is located on Part Lot 68, Concession D, RP 61R-6644, Part 2, municipally known as 5509 Highway 9. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to amend the site-specific zoning, RIN 58, on the subject land. The site-specific zoning permits cabinet manufacturing and assembly operation, including associated uses. The applicants are proposing to use the existing structures on the property for a yarn mill, processing of raw fiber, and the fabrication of yarn products. This amendment is required to permit the new use. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies, and posted on the subject property on March 30th, 2016. The following comments were received from Town of Minto staff, the building assistant. The report is attached. Mark Van Patter, the manager of planning, County of Wellington, and his report is here. And Michael Oberl, environmental planning technician, Saugeen Conservation.
Okay. The applicant here? Yes. Would you like to come on up and say anything, or you? Mark first, okay. Oh, here we are. Yep.
Is that on? Oh, that's on.
You're on.
We can hear you.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge and members of council. Before I start into this, I should just outline a bit of sort of what happened. I prepared my comments last week and sent copies off to the town and as well to Deb Griffey, who is the applicant. And she thought she would like wanted the rezoning to be a little bit broader in case somebody else came in with a different use after her, and they might not have to rezone it. So I prepared a second draft amendment for council. And do you have both copies?
I'm just going to check that. You have both?
I had
We have two
Okay,
options.
I just wanted to explain that just in case there's some confusion on what had happened there. So I'll go through my planning comments. As was noted, I think you all probably know, this is Royal Oak's kitchen site, owned by Glenn Small. And Deb Griffey has an offer to purchase on it and make a change in the use. As you heard, the proposal was they're in the alpaca wool business, and they want to fabricate yarn for it and make socks. About 90% of the socks are to be sent out wholesale and maybe 10% retail. They would have a small store, and all this would take place in the existing building. In terms of the provincial policy statement, the Wellington plan, it's designated secondary agriculture, so there's more flexibility in this area, and so we don't have any concerns with what they're proposing. I did put in my comments, verbatim what the current zoning bylaw is on there. And so in terms of the way it's zoned, it specifically only allows the cabinet manufacturing there, and there's a number of regulations that go with it in the current zoning. In terms of planning consideration, under the first one, provincial policy, consistency, and OP conformity, no concerns at all with that stuff. This is basically a small-scale cottage industry. Compatibility with neighbors, with the wool manufacturing, no problems with that. It's got to be less or more quiet than the current one, so no problems with that. And so, getting down to the two bylaws I prepared, you'll note in the first bylaw that I basically just switched it from the cabinet making to the yarn production. And then after Miss Griffey talked to me, I think it was on Friday, I fairly quickly put together a new amendment and broadened it a bit. And I'll just go through that second one that I broadened a bit. Essentially, the first parts of it are identical, to allow an accessory residential use as well as the yarn production. And then I put another bullet in there, and this is where to broaden it. And under that bullet, I went through the industrial uses and tried to pick out ones that I didn't think would have much nuisance value, not much noise involved. The uses I included in there were a builder or contractor's yard, business or professional office, custom workshop, service or repair shop. Both of those are small scale shops for small things. Commercial studio, computer programming, data processing, research facility, printing, publishing, or a vet office. And then at the very end of it, I took the regulation that's in the home industries that talk about nuisance and basically put it in there saying that the use wouldn't be permitted if it created any kind of a nuisance. And so if a new use was proposed there, if the chief building official felt that it might create a nuisance, then they'd have to get rezoned, go through a rezoning process. So just to let you know, there is a neighbor that's fairly close. That neighbor is about 68 meters away to the north. There are some, it looks like it's fairly well buffered in the air photo. There's a fair number of trees between the shop area and the house on their property. So I think, for sure with the wool one, they're going to be fine, and probably with the other one, they'd be fine too. So I think that's probably all I'd say at this point.
Questions for Mark?
Mark, if I may, through you, Mayor Bridge, you talked about possible future uses of the structure. I guess what is the purpose of that? I think I know, but I'm not sure.
It's just
we should dictate to the future.
Well, yeah, I guess you can go either way on that. You can have zoning that's permissive a bit, so you try to pick a broad group of what it can fit into, or the way it's been in the past, it was very specific. They were allowed to have the cabinet makers. So at some point when Miss Griffey goes to sell the property, the only use that's going to be allowed on it is a yarn manufacturer. So it's whether or not you want to provide a little bit of flexibility from the outset.
Yep. Anybody else? Stacey, you have something to add?
Not really. I guess you could have a quick look at the Saugeen comments. There is natural environment and the close community, and they said that if there was expansion, that they would require a permit through them. Other than that,
I think Mark's comments about the second, the second amendment when he's talking about it, I think that's good because it's fair, and it also, we have that little rider in there that if it is sold for a nuisance thing, that we certainly would have some flexibility to go back at it through that. So I think it's fair to the purchaser that they have some other flexibility, because I'm sure at this time the yarn business is what you want to do, but at the end of the day, if we decide to get out of that business, retire, then you want to have a little more flexibility on the property. If that makes sense. Any other comments? Does the applicant want to say anything, or?
No, if you guys have any questions, I'll answer them.
Okay. Do we have any questions for the applicant? No, I guess you're good tonight. Anybody wishing to oppose the amendment? Okay. And I will then state, if you wish to be notified of the decision of the council of the town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, you must make written request to the clerk or town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, NOG 1ZO, or by email billwhite@townofminto.on.ca. There's no other further comments. Have you, any council have any further comments? No? I will adjourn the public meeting. Better. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. Now, next up is what?
Robin Ross.
Oh, Robin. Come on up, Robin, if you wouldn't mind. Is Bruce coming with you? Or? No, he's just sitting at the back. It's nice to see Bruce. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you. I'm Robin Ross, and I've moved across the road. I used to live in North Wellington for 35 years, but I've been in Minto for 15. And I'm here representing a group of North Wellington parents that are concerned about changes that the Upper Grand District School Board is making recommendations to change their French immersion program throughout the entire school board. And we're concerned about how that will impact our area. So what we would like is to find effective solutions that the school board could use along with the ones that the review committee has submitted. And we've also made presentations to the Minto Council and to the Economic Development Committee in Wellington County to find more help to solve these problems in a positive way instead of the proposed cuts that the school board is anticipating. So I have forwarded you a resolution, a draft resolution, and the school board created a review of the French programs, both the French immersion and the core French, and they have two big problems. They have overcrowding at some schools, and they haven't been able to find accredited teachers. And the committee was asked to create recommendations to solve these problems. And overall, the recommendations that they've already adopted to improve teacher recruitment and teacher retention are very good, and we support that. But what we see as a main problem to the review is that they see it as a no-win situation. They don't see it as improving. So even with their improved teacher recruitment, they still want to cut and cap the program, which means in a public school board that there is going to be a lottery for kids to get into the program. And that means that the wide open French immersion program that's been in Palmerston I was in the first class with Mr. Elliott's daughter, yep, causing terror in Palmerston Public for many years.
It's true.
But, yeah, it is. That didn't help with teacher retention. But, so they are now, the school board now wants to put a limit of only 25 kids who are 3 or 4 years old getting into the program in Palmerston. And right now they have 37. So that means there's 12 kids this year that wouldn't be allowed in. And to me, that's a really big number, especially in an area where there is no other enhanced academic program. If they make the French immersion program smaller here, there's nothing else for people to send their kids to. We don't have a large There's no Montessori schools here. There's no other language programs here. And we believe that the public school board should be open to everyone in the area to go to if they want to. And we think when this started, I contacted Minto's own economic development manager, and I said, don't people look at schools when they move to the area? So when you're trying to recruit people, and the school board's own review or survey said that people choose French immersion because they want their kids to have a bigger employment opportunity in the future. So if you take that away from the small communities, that can have a negative impact on us, especially as it's the only thing that's offered in this area. And so what we have done is a group of the parents have gotten together and have gone. North Wellington Council was approached last night, and they supported the resolution that we forwarded, and they're also sending a letter to the board stating that it's not in the interest of our community to make the program smaller when there is the potential to keep it as it is or even improve it, if they will allow people to help them, like yourselves, with the resident recruitment program that is actively trying to get more people into the area. We want them to know that people want to help them to make it better, and they don't have to cut it without accepting help. So what we would like you guys to do is kind of help us help them. When I forwarded it to you a couple weeks, it was 3 weeks ago, I didn't have the draft resolution, but I submitted it since then. So we're basically asking you as a council to agree that capping the French immersion program here can have a negative impact in our community. That if the Upper Grand School Board is willing, that you would assist them in recruiting people to this area to teach here, bring their families here, and bring more people, not just teachers, but people that want to move to the area and work in any type of profession. And that if council has any ideas about how we can assist the school board in making this a better program, that they share it with us so that we can encourage the board. And we'd really like the board to know that the cap in this area is 25, and that's the lowest of anywhere in the Upper Grand District School Board, because at the public meeting, we were told that will never be an issue here because this is a negative growth area. And I don't know where they've gotten that information from, because I see a lot of new houses around in Palmerston and Harriston. I don't go to Clifford much, but I think they're there too. And there's already 37 kids this year, which is well over that 25 cap. So I don't think they have an accurate view of what's going on here. And if the council has any way to help us show the board that we are not a diminishing community, that would be appreciated. One of the parents phoned the school board and asked if they could talk to the superintendent for Palmerston Public School, and they were told that that's part of Perth County.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah. So I don't know how they have gotten that lost. So as the small group of parents trying to stand here and convince the board that Palmerston is in your county, is in your area, and you should care about it, we're looking for any help we can get from other people to I don't know, educate, I guess, the school board in the effects that this cap can have to us. So that's all we're really asking for is some information and a little bit of help in getting out the idea that North Wellington does exist and it's fairly important.
There you do, and then
Yes, just through you, Mayor Bridge. I definitely support French immersion in our schools. I'm just wondering, as far as participation, do you have any stats as to how many start out as to, say, 3 years later and 6 years later, how many are still
Yeah,
in?
there's a between a 90 and 95% retention rate.
Oh, okay.
So if they cap our class at 25, it means that by grade 8, there's only 10 to 12 kids in that class because they're not trying to keep it as full as possible. And then they say, well, it's hard to retain teachers. Well, teachers aren't going to want to come and teach split classes when they could be going to other school boards without caps and teaching big classes.
So
It's harder to teach a grade 5, 6 than to teach just a grade 6.
But there's an overage of teachers. Is it just in French immersion? There's
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's the main thing, because you have to have different levels of French qualifications to teach French, not just French immersion, but core French as well. So they don't have any trouble finding English teachers, but they have not, like, some of their basic recommendations that they adopted were to go to schools and recruit. And we've kind of asked, well, what the heck have you been doing? Because you've been short teachers for many years. You've been able to show us how long you've been short teachers. And if you haven't even gone out and tried to find them, I can see how that's hard to fill the classrooms. So if you haven't even done basic recruitment, like, to me, it's like if you're trying to recruit doctors, you should probably go to a medical school. To me, that's a good first step. And if you haven't done the first step, there's a lot of room for improvement before you kill the program. Let's see how much you can improve it before you say it's impossible to do.
Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Robin, I'm a great supporter of the program. You know that all 3 of my children graduated from the French immersion program, and it has assisted them in their lot in life. One of them doesn't use it much anymore, but
Yep.
it's still assisted in many other areas. I'm curious on, and I suppose this is a question for the board, and is, how do we improve or encourage the recruitment of French immersion teachers?
Well,
How do we do that?
we have a large variety of ideas. We just really need the board to say no to shutting this program down before we have a chance to do any of these things. There's a huge number of people that are vested in this program and have not had, like, the parents that want to keep it alive have a huge amount of resources that they haven't been able to use because the board is in a very, when this review first came out, we are only lucky to get a chance to have a discussion about this because they were ready to pass all the recommendations and cap all the programs and cut French time, I believe in January, was it? At the very first meeting. And it was only because a couple of the trustees said, maybe we should look at this longer, because parents never even heard of the review and the recommendations before the board to approve all of the recommendations. So basically, we want the school board to give us a chance to solve the problems, because it's not unsolvable. We haven't even started. So we're most alarmed that we are running out of time to get them to even think about solutions before it's cut.
And then Jean.
As you know, Sherry, and you
Yep.
started in that first pilot program years ago.
Yep.
It was a little scary when you guys went in it. And I can say, for a matter of fact, that every time I meet one of you pilots.
The pilots, yes.
Yeah, a bunch of individual, independent thinkers who and maybe it's because of the language, second language that you've been taught. Not all of you went right through the whole program. Man, oh man, every time you guys get together and even to talk to each one of you,
Yeah.
it gives you that. So in the fact that all my grandchildren at one time have gone to French immersion, even Rhonda's children who
Yeah. She was older.
See how well she wasn't involved in the pilot program. See how well it was for Sherry, how good it was for her. She started her children in the program. And even if they don't make it all the way through, that first challenge, that first group that they come, I think it's a phenomenal program. And God help us if they had said to me that my child couldn't have went because it didn't make the lottery number. Yeah. Or she wasn't smart enough, or whatever the program may be. I applaud you for going down this path and keep going with it, and I'll support you 100%.
Okay, perfect.
Jean?
I have a few questions.
Yes.
So the capping from 37 to 25, to what end is that proposed? Like, are they able to reduce a teaching position? And if we're losing 10% of the kids per year, I'm assuming by your numbers that you get to 8, I would think that would make it much harder to retain them rather than making it easier because, as you say, there's nobody left to teach. So by shrinking the class, compounded the problem rather than solving the problem, have we not?
To me, that's what it seems like. And I haven't gotten an explanation from board staff explaining to me. Basically, what they're saying is by capping the program throughout the board, they can take the limited number of teachers they have now and spread them out. And it will get smaller and smaller. They are deliberately making it a small program instead of trying to sustain it or grow it.
So are they proposing busing the children to fill up the classes across the region? Or?
No, they are not going to fill up classes.
So if they have 25 per class, they're going to cap it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they can cut a teaching position at our school. Is that what they're thinking? If they have 37 now, they're going to take away 12.
Right. They'll probably get down to 1 JK then.
Okay.
The other thing that we can see happening here is if your first 2 kids are in French immersion and you live in Mount Forest, your third one doesn't get in, it's very hard to have 3 kids in public school that far apart.
So I didn't quite understand that comment in it. So they'll take them to another school to get them in French immersion.
I already know some families who will take their grade 3s and grade 2s out of the program and send them to the English program because you can always switch back to English and have all their kids in one school instead of having their kids 40 minutes apart.
And is there any explanation of the lottery process? Like if
they haven't even decided. I mean, and that's
because how would that get fairly done? Like
there is no way to fairly do a lottery.
That's defying my logic.
Like to me, every kid should start in French immersion because it makes your whole world bigger. You don't have to go and work with French, but language is the building block to abstract concepts and communication, and the more you have, the better you are. So every kid, I think, should be in French immersion. Like if I was in charge, that would be my goal, is to make everybody start kindergarten, and if they choose to opt out in grade 1 or grade 2, that's okay. But everybody can get bigger mentally by having more languages.
There's no question that being bilingual is a benefit to every child, and if we're a bilingual country, we should be offering it to every student. And I know we have options, and for some kids, it's not the best solution, but I agree.
I think there's a lot more kids that could do in this program than what's been sold to them.
And it's required for any government job. You need to be bilingual.
All right, I'm just going to ask 2 more. Dave, do you want to go first, and then Mary Lou, because Dave hasn't had an opportunity.
I commend you, Robin, for taking this upon yourself. I mean, and your group. Basically, you really have nothing to gain other than personal satisfaction, being as your family member, your son is already in the class.
Yep.
So I see this as the first step to eliminating the whole program.
Yeah,
4, 5, 10, 12, 15 years down the road.
Well, that seems to be the intent. If you haven't tried to hire teachers and you want to cut the program, and in a few years you won't even have to offer it because people have given up.
So what's the timelines? Like when
what year are they going to start this? Next
The
year?
cap will start in 2017 if it's voted in.
Wow.
So with 25 kids starting, with them capping it, I don't know, that's gonna make the grade 8 class even smaller.
Yeah.
And so can we lump the grade 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all in the same class? So we'll
Wow.
need 2 teachers?
One
And then
room
they'll
schools.
say,
Back to one room schools.
then what
Yeah.
they'll say is, basically, nobody's interested, so we're gonna eliminate it.
Yeah.
So,
We don't have enough interest to keep it alive. Well, you did.
mhm.
Mary Lou, and then I'm going to wrap up.
Okay, my only question was, you're not getting 37 children in one room, are you? You don't.
No,
No.
like right
That
now.
represents 2 classes.
Yes,
of
there's
French
two.
immersion. Okay.
There's 2 French immersion. They split the SK and the JK. So my son is in a kindergarten classroom, and there's 17 JK in his, and the rest of the other 10 are SK.
Right.
So I'm just wondering if there's a budget concern that they're dropping a teacher. Is there?
Sure.
Yes, I mean I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't tell them that it's free, and they
not
are
free.
telling us it's an optional program, but it is a very important program that has survived for a long time and should continue, I think.
Okay, I'm just going to sum up because I had an opportunity to hear something today as well, because you did go to Economic Development Committee at the county, and I'm on that, and talked about the economic concerns. And Mr. Whale did an excellent job. It was quite a heated debate, and one of the things was a little concerned by some of the councillors there, and is the fact that are we sticking our nose into somebody else's jurisdiction, and we don't want to do that. We don't like the school boards coming in and telling us how to run the town either. So there was some of the concern there, but I think at the end of the day, we all agreed that it's a program that, again, we're losing in the rural areas. There's certainly, and I don't see Bruce over here, and Bruce is our lone voice south of Center Wellington, I guess. I don't know where, Bruce, but there's not many of you. North of Center Wellington, we haven't got a lot of voice. Bruce is the only one. And so there was that concern about some support. And from an economic development, we heard about some businesses might leave, and certainly if some of the teachers that are teaching French immersion right now, if their kids lose out in the lottery, obviously they're going to move too.
Yeah.
So it's going to make the thing worse. So the feeling I got from the presentation today, and what I'm getting a little bit from yourself, is the fact that the big concern is, the way the school board is laying it out, is that they can't seem to find those teachers to come and do it. And I mean, this isn't a new phenomenon. My dad was principal of the high school years ago at Norwell, and he used to have to go down to the Royal York and beg people to come up and teach at Norwell, right?
Yep.
And he'd be in there offering them extra bonuses and everything else, and then that changed. But so
But he did find a way to find them.
He did, and I worked hard at it. And I do believe that I think we as council should look at that and try. And I think the direction we were getting from the county through, they're going to have actually talked to Martha, is that we want to offer our support.
Yeah.
And so I like your resolution, but if I wouldn't mind just adjusting it slightly.
It's
is that
a
all right?
draft.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
So where you've got here, therefore it resolved that the UGDSB, the Upper Canada District School, Upper Grand or whatever, request Upper Canada. It could be the Upper Canada, yeah. Requested to explore solutions other than capping and reducing French immersion program. I'd like to put that in there. Therefore, it resolved the town of Minto offers their support to the UGDSB to explore solutions other than capping and reducing French immersion. Because I think we have some options I know I haven't had a chance to talk to Belinda, but we have a job portal. We're working hard at trying to get some of our alumni back. We can really work hard at recruitment. And we've done a really good job on doctor recruitment. So.
Yes.
And then further, that the town of Minto worked with the County of Wellington to assist in coordinating the recruiting of educational professionals to the area. And I think that's where the county, again, through their recruitment program and through their workforce planning board programs, we want to really get that. And we're going to convey that to the board. Would that help?
Yes.
And rather than us sort of saying that we request to explore solutions, I'd rather offer our help.
Yep.
And if they turn us down, then we'll be a little upset. But we're actually think we can actually give you some support in that area. Is that all right with everybody here?
You bet.
Is that good?
That sounds very good.
Yeah.
Would that be fair?
That's all we're looking for is a chance to a chance to find solutions. And when I talked to Belinda, it was nice to hear that you guys were actively doing resident recruitment and know how to do that.
Yeah.
So if the school board is willing to use people who are already doing that, it'll make it much easier to solve the problem.
And I think I know I was talking to Mayor Driscoll today too. He was in that meeting. And I think they're meeting with Mapleton shortly because it affects Mapleton, Wellington North, and ourselves, and Mayor Lennox was there. And one of the things that the county needs is us to sort of say that we are willing to support Wellington County on doing this as well. So it's a voice from the three of us up here in the north, and to add some strength to Bruce's voice, which I know he's been very, very good about putting out there.
Yes.
So if that works for you,
yes,
I would recommend that. If I can have a mover and a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor Faulkner, Councillor Dirksen, all in favor? And we'll get that off.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your,
Rob. Good job.
Okay.
And Bruce?
Yes, Bruce?
Just before you finish, I'd like to add my thanks to you people for supporting it. It is a tough go down there.
Mm-hmm. We know.
And we thank you for your voice.
1 and 3, 1 and 5 now are requesting French immersion when they're entering the children. The numbers are going up. It's a program that is increasing. Our student numbers in the regular program is decreasing. French immersion is growing. The other two is decreasing.
Wow.
And I got my mouth shut.
Fair enough, Bruce. Thanks.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks for coming. Yep. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're going,
Nice shirt and hat, by the way.
yeah, that's good work. I thought you were maybe doing the IPM update.
By the way, Bruce, we can officially say that the musical ride will be coming
Oh yeah.
to the
Well, I
Flower.
thought that's your big thing today.
Wait for it.
Wait.
Well, we're hoping to have that.
No worry.
Thanks. Okay, and we have another delegation, and Kevin, would you like to come up and Kevin and Kevin, right? Ken. You said Kevin.
Ken.
Yeah, sorry, Ken. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Thank you for seeing me again and seeing us again. That's good. I understand, Kevin, you know a few of the folks on the council here. So
I do know a few, and I'm here just to support Ken today. And
I don't even hold a grudge that he actually hit me, knocked him into the dunking tank.
first throw when they
I
were
don't even hold that
filming,
grudge, so there's no problem.
when the TV camera was on, I
You
got
haven't
it.
forgotten.
I did get him back. I did get him back though. Anyway.
There's a bit of history here.
Recruited by the Blue Jays now.
You're on for the dunk tank again this
Oh,
summer.
well, as soon as, if I can make her, I'll be there.
Well, I wrote a letter a little while ago, and I'm back again well, last time I was here just to get to know the council a little bit, let them get to know me. And I want to say first of all too that I was going to introduce a young fellow, Joe Janesco, but he unfortunately has had to quit actually from YFC, from Youth for Christ, Youth Unlimited, unfortunately. So I'm kind of the lone staff right now. I'm here as Pat has often been to basically just appeal to council to help us out a little bit financially and in the ministry and the programs that we put on, and to basically if you can support us, that'd be good. Basically, I wrote a letter here, but our two main foci is that, of course, we want to do programs for youth, and that you've helped us out in the past with that. There's costs, of course, associated with the building, costs of programs, the utilities, and there's some work to be done in the building, and I make that appeal in there as well. There's just some fire prevention issues that we have to take care of, and these are costly things too. So I'm essentially asking if council can help a little bit with that. That would be, that would be great.
Any questions for Ken? I know we've done this in the past, and board, put your other hat on as treasurer.
Yeah. What we have done in the past is CAS and facilities, but I gather from reading your letter, it's more the CAS. You've got these other issues.
Yeah.
So your request is basically for $2,000 CAS. So, and that would come out of our general.
Oh, to 1,000.
Yeah. So.
And I'll just mention, like, one of the realities is that some things with the building were neglected over the last number of years, and so something I've appreciated with Ken is that he's really taken it on himself to take care of some of those important building issues. But Cam Forbes has brought a number of things to our attention where there's extra unplanned expenses, and so any partnership you can give to help us with that will really help us to kind of launch forward with our work with youth here in Minto. So.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bridge. I've worked with Ken before, and I mean, to bring the fire issues forward, it just says something about you. I mean, you're protecting your kids, and I'm in support of this, and I'm in support of Kevin as well. For those of you who don't know, Kevin is the chairman of our Harrison Food Bank.
Yes,
so, and thank you for being that, Kevin.
My pleasure.
Any other comments? Motion. We need a motion. Councilor Caldwell, Councilor Turton. All in favor? It's coming out of our budgetary process.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
This is the guy
Thank you very
have to
much.
worry about.
Thanks for having
That's
us.
good.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Good luck, you guys.
Thank you.
Public.
Oh yeah, public question period. Did I move that up or down? I don't know. Some people have got eliminated it. Okay. And now correspondence received for information requiring decision of count. Anything in there that, fairly good news, some of it. Motion to accept the correspondence. Councilor Elliott, Burton, all in favor? Carried. Okay. Reports, committee reports for receipt. Saugeen Conservation Authority minutes. Any questions on the Saugeen? Move to accept. Sure. Deputy Mayor Faulkner, Councilor Elliott, all in favor? Carried. Okay.
Right on.
And we have non-staff reports. Chief Building Official, March building stats.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Oh, you're going right there? You're not coming out to
I'm not moving. I hurt my back, so I don't want to go in there.
Now, is he on camera there, Emily?
Did you say we?
He may be on camera there.
Okay, because
I think I am, actually.
I think he is.
So I
okay,
think
you're
I'm
good.
safe.
Okay, got that. I'm on camera.
We'll have to check tomorrow. So everything's looking pretty good so far this year. In March, we issued 2 new houses worth a little under $500,000. And we did have a nice industrial renovation, so that would be for Brett Young Seeds up in Clifford there. So it's keeping things moving for us. Dollar-wise, we're slightly below, like $200,000 below our rolling 10-year average. So obviously nothing to worry about at this point. Permit numbers are higher than the 10-year average. So I think all in all, it's looking good. Still early to tell how things are going for the entire year, but I'm not too concerned about it. Should be another busy one. So any questions on that?
Questions for Terry? No? Oh, you set a tough example last year.
I know. That's the tough part. How can I word my report so it looks like every year's a good year? But
I recall a movie once that they came up in the movie George Armstrong. A lot of people around here wouldn't know George Armstrong, but he was the last captain of the Maple Leafs that actually won a Stanley Cup in '67. Just to give you a little history. And in this movie, they asked him, he was with a rookie, and they asked him, he said, Mr. Armstrong, are you going to score 50 goals this year? And he said, well, if I score 50 goals this year, they want me to score 50 goals next year. So unfortunately, you did score a bunch of goals last year, so we expect good stuff.
I did, but I have absolutely no control over it. I just kind of work it as it comes in and
Anyways,
take it
I
from
know
there.
you're busy. I know, it looks good. Motion?
I'll make a motion, but I also.
Oh, you have a question first then?
Well, not for Terry.
Oh.
Just a general question, if you don't mind. I happen to be watching Whiteman TV, and I'm wondering, we're showing this lovely on screen, but it doesn't show on the TV. Why is that?
We don't have the ability right now to be able to move the cameras to be able to show them. That is something that's being worked on, and we're hoping that we'll take effect in the next 7 months.
Okay, thank you.
I think if I'm right on this, and we're talking to Matt, he's not here, but I think the technology was that these smart TVs would actually feed into the Whiteman thing.
That's what I believe too.
Yeah, we haven't got there yet.
There's a lot more technology.
There's some upgrades that have to be done. You're right, but it would be nice, Mary Lou, if you could see
the people at home could see what we're looking at. Yes,
sure. I have technology. I'm not off Scribe now. I'm into some other thing here. So
now I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you. Second by Councilor Anderson. And all in favor?
Get the hand in there.
Well, she's in now. She's got to get her hand up.
I have it up. You ignore it.
I did not ignore it, did I? Trouble.
Frequently.
Okay, next up is the parking lots.
Yes. So we have a good problem going on in Palmerston right now. The good problem is we have a lot more residents moving in, a lot of downtown renovations coming to completion, and that's driving the need for parking spaces for these tenants. So right now we own 4 municipal parking lots in the downtown core. We have the Palmer parking lot, referred to as the Palmer parking lot. It's in behind the former Palmer. We have the parking lot in behind Brown's Insurance. We have one between Rock's Antiques and Jay's Variety, as well as one adjacent to the Foodland. The problem is the Palmer parking lot and the Brown's parking lot. We rent out 32 spaces, I think, in those two, and they're right full. And we have a demand of 14 additional parking spaces for some new tenants. Staff, we met to chat about where we could provide these additional paid parking spaces. And both through conversation with town staff as well as economic development, the proposal was to assign parking spaces in the Jay's parking lot, so between Rocks and Jay's. There is lots of room in there. The proposal was to put them on the Rocks Antique side, being there's 3 storefronts on the side of Jay's, as well as so 9 across the side there, and then 5 in the back to provide those additional parking spaces. We did look at the Foodland parking area. It's nice and big and wide open, but unfortunately in the summertime, we do get lots of people coming visiting our park and our pool, and they love parking there. So we figured from an economic development standpoint, if we can allow or leave those parking spaces for our visitors would be preferable. Being that we're not going to have assigned parking in all of Jay's Variety, some of the employees from the downtown businesses still could park there, or there is still ample room across the road in our Foodland parking lot. So essentially, cost-wise, lining the parking lots are already in Public Works budget. The only additional thing would be about $1,000 for 14 additional signs to get that established. Right now, revenue, we're sitting at about $150 a parking space. Doesn't offset snow removal and cleanup, but for one, it gets more people into our downtown to be employed at our businesses, and does offset some of the costs. So I think it's definitely a positive thing. So I've got a recommendation there that to accept my report and direct staff to line and sign those parking spaces.
Yes.
Just a couple things.
Yep.
in talking to, he came to our DRC meeting, and the owner of the Deb's Hair Design and a couple of the landlords were in, and they're suggesting that a lot of people that will be renting these apartments, like single apartments and such like, type of tenant that they are, they probably don't even own cars. So this is in their history. So that may be a less concern than what we think, but you still have to provide that just in case they have a car. Again, the L&M, it's good you're not, or the Foodland parking lot. There's trucks do have to get in there too to deliver, so that's another reason why it'd be difficult there. It's a tight situation. And one question I might have, and it might be more for Public Works, is snow removal when you have people paid parking and you have to get into Jay's or back behind the Palmer. I know we have some problems back to Palmer. People still staying parked. And you have to get the snow out, and then they complain they can't get the snow out, but the car's there. So is there any way that we can solve that problem? They have to move their cars before, or what's owed to them?
That question there is very hard. It's
so we give paid parking, and
give us a hard answer.
We can't clean it for them. That's
yeah, like with Jay's variety, the parking there, we actually have a straight run to clean the majority of it. As the day progresses with people on shift work, you're always going to have people parked there, and to get them all out at the same time, it's hit and miss. We just try to do the best and get them when we can, when we're in there. We're in there during different times of the day as well. Once the snow pile becomes a certain size where we're running out of room, we'll be in there cleaning that up, and then we can clean some of the other stalls at that time, not during the regular time frame that we are in there. So we make it work anyways, but
that's only the best we could do. We couldn't offer a time that they have to have their cars out there.
Every day is different.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only difficulty you may have in paid parking. Somebody says I give $150 and I don't get my place cleaned, and you say, well, your car was there.
Yeah.
I know I have, well, you know, Mike, that I've had some complaints, and you've solved the problems as much as you can, but maybe when somebody buys that paid parking spot, that be explained to them quickly that snow removal.
And one other thing, just to go along with that, on a normal snow event, 4 inches, or I'm gonna say 3 inches or less, virtually there's no issues with that. The heat of the sun, if the sun comes out, usually melts it off, or the material put in place usually looks after the majority of it. It's when we have the larger events where it could take us a week to get around to all these areas anyways by the time we actually get them all cleaned up. And that's just where we ask for the patience to do that.
I will double check to see what the agreement is that the individuals sign, to see what's noted in there. And just to touch on your point about the parking demand, the 14 parking spaces would be the maximum that we anticipate based on full occupancy of all the businesses. At this point, they're not all spoken for in Jay's Variety. As I mentioned, the other two are loaded full, so this is just kind of an anticipation. So I'm not coming back to you again begging for more signs to get more people put in there.
And just to speak to that, I know at the staff level and Bill had talked, I mean, we're looking as best we can, Ron, around almost to find other possible sites that we could end up doing more parking. It's as you say, it's a good situation. We finally got some renovated apartments going above the stores. Those are all good things. This is a bit of a blimp in the road, but we'll try to do our best. As far as, you know, like if you rent an apartment and you get parking, you have the same problem. I mean, if you don't get up in the morning when the guy comes in, you have to deal with it. I mean, it's not like it's like private, a big apartment building. If you're not up there and moved your car, you're not getting plowed out until the next time around. So, I mean, you'll have to do something. I mean, even though you pay in your rent that parking space, I mean, there has to be real reasons that we're living, unfortunately, in a snow belt, and we have to deal with it. But I know it'd be nice to have a perfect situation. But I think if they're well informed, that we'll try to do as best we can on it. And we've had occasions over there that we've tried to rectify that we realized that they weren't getting plowed properly. And I think, in fairness, I think the downtown revitalization group, and Ron, were you there at the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, because I got a note from Belinda today about some of the concerns.
Yes.
And I understand that. And I think the staff are going to take that into advisement.
Yeah, and I think that's something that you just work at.
Yeah.
I think they were fine with what came forward.
The intent.
I think they're looking into the future.
Yeah.
Excellent. No, I appreciate
we have
that
to look at the
feedback.
future as well.
She sent you a copy.
Yep.
Yeah, good. So I think we are exploring that.
Mayor Bridge, thank you. I think it's important that we do stay in touch with the Downtown Revitalization Committee and make sure that the businesses know we are trying. We're trying to generate more parking spaces, and it's nice to have their opinion and have them work with us.
Yeah, timing for this was unfortunate. I would have liked to start at the Downtown Revite Committee, then move to Economic Development, and then to you guys. But it was to a point where we're getting all these demands for parking. And at that point, we still had the prohibition of parking on street due to snow removal. So it was kind of trying to get things moving as quick as possible to accommodate these new tenants of Palmerston.
And in on that, county is looking at they're doing their traffic count on the William Street corner. So that's in the works. So that'll get done as soon as now the good weather's here. And when we come back to that, one of the problems we're going to have there, Ron, is the fact that we're probably going to have to eliminate some parking spots to get sight lines, which is a bad thing. So we have to really explore parking. Parking is going to be an issue in Palmerston as we start filling up those stores and we start doing it. So we want to make sure that we're leading and you're rightly so. Councillor Turton, I know the Downtown Revitalization Group in Palmerston is very, very active and vocal and letting us know what their thoughts are, and we keep passing them on to the staff. And
is that another opportunity for a roundabout?
No, no,
Wouldn't fit.
no. And you know, I mean, I talked to Gord today on that, and once we get the traffic count, they'll give us some ideas of what possibly could go there. I doubt it won't be a full-fledged light situation, but we'll see. We'll see what the traffic counts are going to be, because they're doing not only they're doing the pedestrian thing as well, and they're doing wait times and things like that. So when we get that report, we'll have a better idea as to what we've got there. But definitely, I know already. I mean, everybody that's been in this room, I'm sure, drove up to that corner and realized that if somebody's parking in front of the L&M or even in front of what we used to call Deb's there, and you have to almost go out into the intersection to get out. I mean, that's just a thing. And so we'll have to do something if we're going to create that as well. So anyways, I decided to throw that in because it was part of the downtown revite.
Thanks.
A motion to
motion to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Turton, seconded by Councillor Anderson. All in favor? Put her hand up that time. She's right on.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good. It's hard to get my eyes. I have a little right thinking, I think. I'm not sure of left thinking. I don't know. What is that? I can't remember. Okay,
we're
next.
backing up with paper now.
We're backing up with paper because we're falling apart here.
Yeah.
I wondered if it was just me, the technology.
Take the internet, but we have paper that's plugged in.
All right, moving along.
Earthquake cleanup.
Mine's working.
No, we're not.
Cord's not working.
And mine's stuck.
mine's
Mine's
Mine
stuck
went
too.
to, my East Drive went to just checkers. There were no documents. They
All
were
right,
there when I read
where are
it.
we?
For Earth Day cleanup.
Earth Day cleanup.
Oh, you have a conflict?
What's that?
And there we are, Annalise.
So Earth Day cleanup, I received a lovely letter from a lovely young girl named Emma McRobb. Maybe a relation of mine.
Oh, is this a conflict?
That's what I am. Well, it could be a conflict, but it's up to you to make that decision. So I'm just presenting to you the information. The Earth Day cleanup from the CALP group has been going on for quite a few years. I know my oldest daughter did it 9 years ago. My middle daughter did it as well. We've been helping them out by providing barbecue supplies, hot dogs, and drinks. as well as tipping fees. It's usually around the $50 mark. It's not a big amount that we're asking for them. We ask that people come out and assist them on this day, May 7th at 10 o'clock at the IODE Park in Harrison. As well, yes, May 7th at 10 a.m. The Kelp Group does even more than just this trail cleanup. They're involved in a lot of cleanups within Wellington County, usually in the Drayton, Harrison, Palmerston, and Clifford areas. They have to receive 24 hours of community service as a part of their program. They're going to plant trees actually this week, about 1,000 of them as part of our Trees for Minto committee to help out. So I'm just asking that you support them in their efforts, and up to $100 be given to them for barbecue supplies and tipping fees for cleanup.
And do we survive the Councillor Turton again to cook them?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that would be great.
Yeah, you know, I know we've always cooked them in the past. So if anybody can help, that would be good. Moved?
Oh, sorry, I'm moving or seconding
Yep.
or whatever.
Okay. Moved by Councillor
I'm
Turkson.
helping you out here.
Second by Councillor Turton. All in favor? Yep. Moving forward. Been on a bit of a holiday, you know. I'm just
Well, I
getting
think-
up to speed.
I think the key point there was be there at 10 o'clock to help,
Oh yeah.
and then have lunch at
Oh, you have to
11:45.
work for your lunch? Is that what the idea is?
They do. They do a great job.
I know they do. Lawn bowling.
I guess I can.
Who's on lawn bowling?
I can talk about
Okay,
lawn. I'll
CAO,
talk about lawn
Turk.
bowling. Okay, so this is right in the center of Harrison on Arthur Street. So we've been talking for about a year and a half of the town acquiring that actual parcel. Our lawyer got into some very interesting detective work when he was doing that. Found that legally the club dissolved in 1963. And yeah.
Yeah, but they've been bowling.
However,
They've been bowling.
that did not.
That's like the guys that are still fighting World War II.
Yeah. It did not slow them down, and they bowled through it all. So for the last 50 years, they continued to bowl. So unfortunately, what happens when there's no corporation, there's no owner, the public trustee is the legal guardian. So our agreement that we're proposing to sign is with the public guardian and trustee. And basically, we're just taking it over for $2, not considering the $9,500 in legal fees, but yeah, it's been quite an enterprise so far. So there's some conditions that if we use it for something else, again, you wouldn't get a building permit because the river is right there. But if you did and you made a commercial gain, you would have to get the consent of the public trustee, and we would have to pay them fair market value. But I don't believe that's contemplated. Again, we hope the club can continue on, and if not, it would probably just be parkland or naturalized. But.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious if you do something 20 years after because forever is a long time, and if you do something, you actually have to go back and pay the fair market value.
This is what they requested.
Oh, just a request.
Well, that's what they want in the agreement. Yes.
So let the public trustee take it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's right.
Has the public trustee been paying the taxes on?
No.
No, the lawn bowlers have.
I deny the
There's a lot of
request.
clout.
They have.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I would read that. I was a little concerned about that. But I would go back to the public trustee and said they want to start paying the taxes. They can. The reason this all started, as you remember, MPAC decided to issue this as a tax bill on this as 2 building lots
And reassess.
and reassess them, and so they were basically going under. Had we already known they went under in 63, and we didn't know, so we kind of made a verbal commitment to help them and support them somehow, but we didn't know they were actually decided that in 63 not to do anything.
Yeah.
But in fairness to the bowling group, they've been paying the taxes,
Yeah,
doing
and
all that. So
Wonderful.
I question this, Gordon, this public trustee thing. That we have to go back if we ever decide that, and I don't know what we'd use it for, to be honest with you, other than a park, which is
yeah.
not, you can't do anything with it.
In a flood zone.
Well, unless we we remove the river someday, you know, or just
Remove it.
move it, like put it underground. Or,
But
yeah.
it's
I just wonder
a
about
couple
that.
things. We probably aren't going to have a flood anymore.
So, anyways, I'm surprised at that piece. That was what really shocked me when I saw
Yeah.
it.
So the
And
9,500 is in our budget to go ahead with this?
We've already
We've
paid
it.
that.
Like
paid
we've been
that,
working on
yeah.
this for
Part of
almost
that
2
budget,
years.
Yeah, and we have made donations to the club to assist with the taxes too, so we're not getting a lot of revenue.
Can we make a deal with the trustee?
I don't know. Well, basically, like their condition is that we use it for the benefit of the public for parkland, and these are the
Well,
terms.
that's what we're going to do. Anyways. Yeah. I don't think we'll ever sell it,
But I just don't. I can't imagine agreeing to something that we're going to say we're going to give you fair market value 20 years from now. Is it established today's fair market value or 20 years from now fair market value?
Or how about 50 years ago when the agreement?
Well, that's right. Or 50 years ago. So I would be opposed to agreeing to pay fair market value at 20 years down the road.
I'd like to find out a bit about that piece. I don't know.
I think we should too.
Would you like to defer?
And we'll defer. Can we defer this till May the 3rd?
I'll make a motion. We defer to make.
I'll second.
And I just want to know where we are with public. I'm wondering if the other road, but the public trustees say, okay, well, fine, you take it back.
That's right. And give
And
us
pay
our
the
95
taxes.
bucks, 9,500
Well, that's,
legal fees.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen.
I don't know. How to happen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I just want to check with our lawyer on that a little bit, and hopefully not charge us any more than the 9,500. I don't want to check with him on the cent that he's going
Well, that
to
was
bill me.
my question was going to be. It says additional legal fees above the 9,500 will be needed to finish. Do we have any estimation of how much further, or it's up to them
Just
how
a
long they drag
pure
it out?
guess, but I would say like 1,000.
Right.
The actual transaction figures, like the actual changing the deed and all that stuff.
Provincial government.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Just a word of advice: if you don't have a will, make sure you have a will, because guess who will look after it if you don't have a will? These public trustee people. And I tell you, it's not a nice thing. I've seen it happen many times in the bank where somebody hasn't had a will, and you have to deal with somebody in Toronto to get your tooth fixed or whatever. It's just not a nice thing. You wouldn't have to because you're dead, but your beneficiaries, yes. Yeah, can we have a motion to defer?
Oh,
We already have
Well,
one.
that was
Aaron and Dave. We
It's already
should have voted.
carried.
Favor? Got a
All in
vote.
favor, okay.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
I had moved by Ron, who was seconded by.
Yeah, we
Dave-
didn't have a
Dave
second.
Turton?
Dave Turton, okay.
Whoever Mayor Bridge says.
Whatever. All in favor? We're deferring it.
Did you
Okay.
want to make another motion?
No, that's right. You guys are ahead of me again. Oh, gosh. Okay.
I can do
Any
that.
more good news, Gordon? You're up
Well,
again.
this is relatively good news, I think. We held a process to provide a fairly primary municipal engineer, and we had a really great response, I believe, from many qualified firms, and we decided on going with Triton Engineering. And we have attached the agreement, and it sets out all the conditions, and we've discussed with Triton staff and a couple of tweaks, but again, there's an out clause, 90 days.
90 days, yeah.
Yep, so you can get out there. So
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't have to dissolve them or anything. So
Questions?
or
Have a motion to accept? Councillor Elliott, Councillor Dirksen, all in favor? Okay.
okay. So
Oh, turning it over to
finance.
finance.
And unfortunately, our treasurer has got many hats
Yeah,
tonight.
so I'll just switch
but
hats
I
here.
would ask him if he would just
Switch
review
hats.
the accounts for March 30th and April 14th.
Certainly, yes. So we have 2 check runs to look at here. I know that the one that stands out is this 115,000 in cemetery. Well, really, it's not an expense. We're just reinvesting GICs that came due.
Oh,
So
okay.
that
That's
kind
a
of
lot.
leaped off
I
the
wouldn't
page
lie.
when I saw that.
What do we do to the cemetery?
Yeah, that would
Pretty
be quite
cool.
the thing too. working on tree removal. Again, we're doing more of our I&I, another $27,000 in manhole repairs, and continuing lighting upgrades at the various marinas and recreation facilities, and a portion of that's covered by the Save On Energy. And I know our facilities manager car is really beyond that. And on the second one, we have some debenture interest, 18,000. Another phase of our asset management roadmap, and we've had a in-person meeting, and we're also working on that behind the scenes. We did take out a bank draft, gambling on the dollar, but you never know, for $285,000. And we paid the Saugeen, half the Saugeen Conservation Levy in the Maitland Valley, and that's about $10,000. And still cleaning up some of the road work from the previous year, paying the holdbacks and that on the various streets, $135,000. We started a bit on the SCADA project with Aramosa Engineering, what we did there. And I kind of like this. The Norgan, we paid $4,000 to the distributors, and the Novias, they were 4 very good movies. So our attendance has been good on them too. So anyway, so those are the major accounts.
Yes, Councillor Anderson.
Just the fire. I wasn't sure what the 300 were. Was there a major expense?
Yes,
Did we buy one of the trucks? Or?
Yes, we did. Well, what we did was we bought a bank draft for $286,000. That was and then we'll probably have a balance to pay.
It's always going up, though.
I know. So but at that time it was the other way. So
It's probably saved us.
and we still don't have an
$50,000
ETA
on
on
that
that. So yeah. Hopefully it'll be here soon.
Is there any other questions? Then could I have someone move the approval of accounts for March 30th and April 14th? Councillor Elliott, Mayor Bridge, all in favor? And the motion is passed. And the second item on the financial, all you're doing is the water and wastewater rate review.
Okay, so tonight what we hope to do is pass the bylaw to put into effect our discussions of the previous meeting. Our consultant just, we keep getting more data, so it's tweaked a very minimal amount, a couple of dollars per bill on the average residential. So again, this is to try and get us back to where we said we'd be in the financial plan, with the ideas of cost recovery. We really had some negative cash flow the last while, and again, it will increase the fixed costs. It will improve the reliability of some of the billing. You'll still be able to control about 62% of consumption, again, in an average residence. And brought in some other rates to cover high consumption users. And there's an attached memo, very similar to what you've seen before, but just slightly different, from Watson Economists. And as I say, we'll have a bylaw later on. The idea is we get this into effect this month. The first bills won't go out till June.
So it would become effective May 1st?
April 1st, because it's bi-monthly. And
April 1st.
Yeah, and that's what we did. So it'll be April, May for the June billing. Okay. Right, Bill?
Yes.
Thank you, through your chair, Caldwell. If I've had a hot issue on my phone since I first got elected 6 years ago, it's been this one. Amazing amount of response, and I just want to ensure that we are doing the right thing of educating the public of what we've had to do, and I know that's a ticklish, onerous task. However, I don't think they totally understand.
I surely don't.
They don't understand what we've had to do, and I think it's our credibility has been hurt, I think, because of something we haven't done or something we could do. I don't know, but I truly think we have to make a little more effort and do something to educate the public so that they do understand.
Yeah. Well, I know our mayor has requested a more detailed insert into the bill, which we're going to do in June, and just explain again the incredible capital investment just to keep the water going.
There's no question.
And that's why it's not like a direct on-off switch, like when it's off, our expenses stop. They don't. It's the cost to get the water to the property line.
Correct.
That's what's so high. And of course, there's increasing demands and regulations that we try and meet. But definitely the operating costs are up. There will be savings from the meters, but the savings are going to be down the road in extending the life of these assets. But
and they don't
unfortunately,
understand the
our costs
provincial
are there.
legislation that says if you've got $400,000 in costs, you will get $400,000 of income to offset those costs. So I think we just need to do something a little better.
No, I agree.
And I'm with you on that, and that's why I've said to the staff, we really need something, an educational thing. Now, I'll be doing the mayor's breakfast. This will be one of my topics at the mayor's breakfast. Again, I think when the second round, when we had to move them up, or we said we were going to move them up, I think one of the big things I kept getting on the phone was, oh, now we're going to be higher than what we paid before. And,
Exactly.
And I said, no, you won't be. And we were able to take those individual ones and say, here's what your water usage was. and you can see it on this chart, table 5, which actually spells it out. So if I'm an average homer, I used to do 212. My current rates went to 165, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm going to go back up to 195. But the low consumption people, that what I was getting from was the seniors that are on their own at home. Theirs, we used to do 212. They went down to 131, which isn't, unfortunately we didn't get the numbers right through the consultant. And now they're going back to 159. They're still going to be a lot lower than 212. But I think they got a feeling that, boy, we're moving up. We're just jumping everybody up.
Right back to
so we really got to get that out there and understand the big capital that we got to do and that we got to continue to do. The other thing that we have to explain is if we wouldn't have been on meters, if we would have stayed off meters on a bulk. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Gord, but our rates would have had to go up quite drastically. And that was one of the reasons, the incentives to go to meters was the fact that because you have no control, you can see we saved 35% of the water usage. With no control, people weren't fixing their toilets. We were doing all this, right? So we were actually taking somebody's running toilet, we're treating that water, and it's causing wear and tear. And our consultant said those rates are going to have to go up around 10 or 12%.
Yes, that's true.
Continually. We forecast now, once this is all done and settled and dusted off, around 2 inflationary,
well, a little
2 or
more
3,
possibly,
2 or 3.
yeah.
But we have a thing out there.
Schedule,
So we have to, that schedule's out there. And as we see these savings, hopefully down the road, and we get more people on, it helps too.
That's the other thing.
Because if we get more people on, as they see this growth happening that we're getting, that's more people paying the bill. That's one of the things we're kind of in a situation where people compare us to a city where they've got like hundreds of thousands of people paying for that line, where we've got 100 people paying for that line that's going along that one road. So you have to understand, we don't have the high rise, we don't have all this stuff. So there is a little bit of a difference there. But I think, to get good water and to keep good water, and the fact that we are saving 35% and people are conserving now, our wells are going to last longer. We're going to have a lot better situation. I think this is very doable.
Yes, Mayor Bridge, thank you. And I think I agree with exactly what you guys have said. It is an awareness thing. Sorry, pardon me.
Chair.
Oh, definitely is. It's an awareness thing. And I believe that, I agree. The number of calls, the number of discussions that you have with our ratepayers. But when you explain it to them, they understand that this has to happen. The money to pay for our infrastructure has to come out of water and sewers. And I know of other centers that put it in as an infrastructure charge. Water and sewer, waters is this much, sewers this much, and the numbers look a lot lower than ours. But then at the bottom of the page, infrastructure, renewal or something like that. So I think we'll get there. I think people will come to realize that it's the right thing to do, and it's tough.
Councillor Elliott.
I think one of the easiest ways, or one of the most common question I get, or or comment, it probably is a better word, is I'll move to Listowel. It's a lot cheaper in Listowel, or I'm going to move to Mount Port or Arthur, and it's a lot cheaper there. In talking to our staff, it's like 1% difference, one up, one down.
Yeah, we're comparable, but again, like as the mayor said, we're 2,100 customers running 4 water systems and 3. Again, I know I've said this many times. If we were one municipality with the same population, the rates would be lower because there'll be one water tower and one treatment plant, but we're trying to maintain the infrastructure of 3 different communities.
And many of these municipalities have a lot of infrastructure work to be completed that we have completed, and we're ahead of the game in many ways. So they'll have nothing but to go up in their water rates and in the future, where ours are going to level up. We've done a lot of the work that we're doing, and we've budgeted for that. So I think that's one of the things that we could explain to people, that we're as good as anybody around the area. We're charging comparable rates.
Yeah, and every time they do a survey, we're kind of in the middle, upper a bit, again, because of these infrastructure challenges.
Are there any other questions? Then the recommendation is the council receives the April 5th Treasurer's Report regarding water and wastewater rate review and consider the adoption of the amendments to Schedule 1 of the fees and charges by law in open session. May I have someone make that motion, please? Councillor Shurton, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, all in favor? And the motion is passed. And I hand the chair back to Mayor Bridge.
Thank you. And
we got Mike.
We're in Public Works.
Public Works, and I'll turn it over to Councillor.
Thank you,
So
Mayor.
try to
Bridge.
catch me on that.
No. We have 2 items on the Public Works agenda tonight. Two really very interesting items. The first one being the request for quotation for sidewalks, and I'll ask our road foreman in our director's absence to speak on this.
We have received 7 submissions varying in price from $24.83 to $53 per lineal foot to replace our existing sidewalks. Arboro Excavating has submitted a price of $24.83 per lineal foot, which was the lowest bid. Staff has had a good working experience with this company. With this contract, new 5-foot sidewalks will be installed in various locations predetermined by our annual sidewalk inspections, complaint-based and high-volume pedestrian use areas. Is there any questions?
I was curious on the. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
through you, Chair Turton.
Go ahead.
Thank you,
Mayor.
The 4. Is that unusual that 4 of the bids would be disqualified?
No, I think what happened there was it was just an oversight. A lot of them they only submitted 1 copy, or they were supposed to submit 2. They were just minor details. It still worked out in our favor that the one we would have recommended still was
eligible.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't want to, for the sake of 1 copy or 2 copies, somebody that exactly. Thank you, Mike. That's fine.
Other questions? So the recommendation is that the council receive the report from the Public Works Director and Roads Foreman dated April 13th, 2016 regarding RFQ 2016-06 for the removal for remove, dispose, replace sidewalk, and approves the awarding to Arboro Excavating 2001 Limited at the price of $24.83 per linear foot plus HST. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Faulkner. Councillor Dirksen, all in favor of the motion? Against? That's carried. It's wonderful, Mike, that we have somebody local doing this. That's likely the biggest complaint that I've heard over the last number of years. Thank you for doing that. Second item is the 3-way stop in Palmerston, Queen Street, and Walker Street.
Staff has been approached in regards to a primary concern of vehicles not stopping at the three-way stop intersection at Walker and Queen Street South in Palmerston, which was put in place in 2011 from an original concern of pedestrian safety as well as residents entering and exiting their own personal driveways due to a high rate of speed entering into the town from Perth or North Perth, and then also exiting Palmerston out to that location. Staff has reviewed this area here, and from King Street, if everybody's familiar with King Street, which is County Road 8, all the way up to the town limits, there is actually due for road reconstruction in that area, which will have the new 5-foot sidewalks, increase visibility in certain areas there, and we'll look at multiple different solutions at that time. The unfortunate part is it's still 5-6 years down the road according to our projected infrastructure needs. Also, according to the Ontario Traffic Manual Book 5, which includes stop sign regulations, based on like at this intersection, it doesn't justify having a three-way stop due to the traffic volume, collision warrants, and also a three-way stop is not to be used as an effective method to control speed in residential areas. However, many communities do use stop signs as a speed control for safety. Staff would it would be appropriate for council to look at the following options for the street, such as having Triton Engineering assess and advise of any technical solutions that can calm traffic in this area, initiate a public meeting to start a process to repeal the bylaw to remove the stop signs, ask the OPP to enforce more actively at this location, and then we could also do some minor things such as painting the stop bars, increasing the stop sign size, and trying to produce more light in the area due to there's a section there that has a large tree canopy which creates a dark section, and vehicles can't see pedestrians or other vehicles in the area from time to time.
Questions for Mike? Go ahead, Mayor Fisk, or Mayor Fisk. Almost. Sorry, Mayor Fisk. Do you have a question?
No, not now.
Not now?
No, actually, I think follow up the recommendations. I know that the person that kind of brought this doesn't want the signs. He still wants a safety of some sort. And when they came originally, it was for safety. And I was here in 2011. A few people around the table were, and we had that argument that stop signs don't necessarily slow the people down per se, but that was the only option we sort of had at the time. Yeah. You said 5 years out for the.
It's yeah.
Okay.
There was a section in the 5-year plan. It was actually in the budget last year,
right?
But it was just the first section from King to trying to remember, King to Young, basically the first block. But the whole stretch actually does need it. There's the 1908 water main. There's shallow sanitary in the area, and then there is a small culvert. It's just a road culvert that basically needs to be replaced as well, which can allow us to put sidewalks in there. Right now we can't
Put them in. That's what's the other problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor Anderson.
I have a couple of questions. You're talking King Street up to Angle Street that goes up, or is this the road that we're talking? Because I had David drive me out there because I'm trying to figure out what we're talking about here.
King Street's actually, that is County Road 8 from Palmerston to Drayton.
Oh, okay.
Queen Street
Oh, okay.
is the one heading out to North Perth.
It's the old cheese
Yeah.
factory road in Palmer Street.
Cheese factory.
Not helping.
Out past Keith
That's not helpful.
help you.
Okay, this road is not King Street that we're talking about where the stops are.
No.
No,
So
that's just
what
the
impact
limit.
does that have on this? I'm confused.
Well, it's kind of like the racetrack almost, starting at King Street, heading out of town. It's a 4-block stretch there, which we are looking at reconstruction,
Okay.
and that at that time we can incorporate more things to address these safety concerns.
But where this 3-way stop
Yeah.
is not on King Street.
No,
No,
Queen
It's out
Street.
on
on
Queen.
Walker.
Yeah, Queen
Or
and
Queen,
Walker.
yeah.
Queen,
And-
Queen Walk.
So we're talking about removing, in one section, we're talking about having a meeting to remove the stop signs.
Yeah.
And then in the next sentence, we're asking the OPP to enforce them more actively. I'm confused.
It's
Well, he's looking for directions.
options.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are different options.
Yeah.
Because, like, I understand that it says that the 3-way stop should never have been put in there. I get that.
Mhm.
But now they're there,
Yep.
and they're saying that that's not stopping them. So
Yep.
maybe remove them, but at the same time, we'd like the police to do more enforcement. So,
Well, that would be the speeding aspect to control the speed.
Right.
The stop signs, it's not necessarily taking them out now. We're looking at different options. It could be in the future when we reconstruct the road that visibility is that much more better, that the speeds are reduced, that it could be a possibility to have them removed at that time. I believe there's multiple issues going on here
Well, and there's
at this.
there's a little hill there. So
Yeah.
if they're coming over that hill quick,
Yeah.
somebody backing out of Williamson's driveway is going to get it in the rear end.
Exactly.
Or Mr. Lang's
Yeah.
driveway.
Mhm.
Or
Oh, yeah.
So there's an opportunity there where we could actually raise the road height down in that
Okay.
hollow,
All right.
and then actually take some of that crown off, so it would increase the length of your
So
visibility.
hopefully they'd see the cars coming
Yes,
out and
exactly.
they'd slow down because there's
Yeah.
a car in front of them, not because they're adhering to the rules of the road. All right.
But that wouldn't be, sorry, through,
Whomever.
Sorry, Deputy Mayor Paul. Mr. Councillor Elliott's ahead of me.
Thank you.
Take control.
I think that was in purpose.
Andrew actually phoned me on this topic, and this kind of how it got
Yeah.
going. And he had a video of, I don't know, 10 hours of a bunch of cars. He said hundreds of cars going through the stop sign. And when I can sympathize with them or empathize with them,
Yeah.
and the fact that they take off from that stop sign when they make that left to go up the country, and about where the stop sign is, they're hitting another gear. They're shooting out of town. So now we're up to 80, 50 zone, probably.
Mhm.
Coming back into town, same idea. They only start to slow down when they see they have to stop for the stop sign at the far end, because they blow right through the stop sign that we've set for them.
Yeah.
Even big tractors and the big, if kids are out there, I mean, these things can move along too,
Yeah.
faster than 50 clicks.
Yeah.
And I see with all his kids around there, and the kids that do come out of that area to go to school, it's a really unsafe situation for them.
Yeah.
I feel bad for them if somebody ever got killed or hurt.
Yep.
Coming out of that. I've been thinking what we could do other than having our OP enforce it. I don't know how some way we have to slow them down coming off that hill or going out of town. They're right at the skirts of town, and that's where they're going to give it.
Yeah.
And I know that for a
Yeah.
fact. They do that.
And I've looked at different areas and just thinking about different areas, and I really do believe that the hill is one of the primary concerns there. Just for the simple fact is you can't see that it's actually the town limits until
Right.
you're coming
Until you're in
there.
Can we put one of
Right.
those great big huge signs with a red light on it?
We could
Just,
do some additional signage there, like even at the top of the hill. We're probably outside of our limits to put a stop sign ahead sign. I'd have to look at that, but something like that could be what's needed. As for the vehicles heading out of town, it's an enforcement issue. it's a tough one in that location.
Yeah, and I know, even as a driver, I'm sorry if I'm taking too long here,
Finished.
but yeah, as a driver going out of that town, drove for years, and then all of a sudden, then over the last 4 years,
Yeah.
My dad lived out there, and I just drove out of town, and it ain't no say, oh, stop sign.
Yep.
So you
Yeah.
hit it.
Yeah.
It's so easy to forget. It just doesn't seem to be visible, or doesn't seem to be even there if you know it's there. So.
Well, I think it's how people are trained, right? It seems like I watched the video myself, and it's a lot of the local. It's people that you see every day that are going through that intersection,
So they know
and
what's there.
you're coming up to the stop sign. There's only 2 houses on Walker Street, so there's never anybody coming up there. So why do we have to stop? It's just kind of that mentality in that location, but it's a safety concern for sure.
Deputy Mayor Fulton, got a question?
I do. The town limits, it's before the crest of the hill.
Yes.
So we have a jurisdiction problem. So we would have to get the town of North Perth to get on side to change the demographics of that hill.
No, actually, the hill itself is within the limits. It's right, because we actually turn around at the top of that hill with the snowplow.
I thought the line was just before the crest of the hill.
We've shared putting the signs.
No, I realize the sharing.
No, like it's right there.
Other questions?
Okay. Wait a minute, I'm not finished.
Yes, you are.
North Perth's not that hard to work with.
Hearing none, the recommendation that the council receives the stop sign Queen Street and Walker Road report from the road foreman and direct staff to look at ways to increase safety with the town's engineering consultant and identify technical issues and solutions in report, and that the staff meet with area residents once report is ready to discuss solutions and make a recommendation to council.
Good.
Councillor Elliott?
I would move that only if we could add to it that we let the neighbors in the area know that we are looking into this somehow. Could we add that to that we're doing this?
So
Also,
let them know
also
before
inform
we
the
meet
neighbors.
with them?
Nope. That this is what we're doing. Inform them that we're doing something.
Well, it says
That's
that the
I
staff-
think their concern is we're not doing anything. So
Okay, so it says then that the staff meet with area residents.
Okay.
Once report is ready to discuss solutions and make a recommendation to council. Is that okay?
sure, and maybe we can even let them know that we're, because I think the concern is we're not doing anything. So we'll let them know that we are doing something, and then we'll meet with them after the fact too.
Can we
Right
add
away.
that?
Well, I mean,
Go ahead,
it's
Mayor
a
Rich.
public thing, like
On TV.
already here, it's on TV. I wouldn't have
Well,
a problem.
I'll phone them.
Yeah, well, no,
I'll call.
no, it's fine, Ron. We'll staff will call them, but I don't think we have to. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll call.
I don't think we have to put it in the motion. We'll definitely
I was talking
call.
to him last week.
Thanks.
I was talking to him last week. as
Well, I'm
well,
going to
and
say
I
you've been in
told him-
conversation with them,
Yeah,
and Ron, it was
and
brought
I-
up to Ron, so and Ron brought it. You know, that makes sense. So.
Councillor Anderson
Yeah.
seconding the motion. Any questions? Everybody understand? We're leaving the motion as is. All in favor of the motion? Against? That's carried. Mike, do you have questions? Time for another question or two?
Oh, yes. Yeah, sure.
A couple of the projects that we're doing right now in all three of our centers, mainly Clifford and Palmerston. Can you just tell us where we're at with the construction projects?
In Palmerston on James Street, we started with the pipe work there on what day was it? I believe it was midweek last week. They're making very good progress. They figure about another 4 weeks, and they'll have the storm water and sanitary all in place. Construction there will probably be into June, July by the time it's all completed, but the pipe work will be completed in about 4 weeks. And then they will be moving up to Clifford, Dan Street, to finish the other block and a half off between Allen and Queen Street West. and it'll take about 6 weeks to complete that. So by the end of June.
And the Main Street of Hairston between Arthur and William?
Main Street in Hairston, the temporary water lines are going in place this week, and they're anticipating construction to start sometime next week, pending on the sampling and everything that comes back from that.
Completion date?
Completion date, not soon enough.
So we have a tentative?
I believe we were shooting for in around July. I want to say about July 15th, in around there.
I thought it was middle of July.
It was about two long weekends is what we're hoping. All we have to go through.
Hopefully the weather will cooperate. Mayor Bridge?
Just on the one in Palmerston, when are we going to pave that first section? Are we going to wait till we do the whole thing, or are we going to pave it first?
We're going to wait and do the whole thing.
Oh, so when's that going to happen?
It should be, just trying to do the math here.
After the mayor's breakfast in
It'll
Palmerston.
be
on that road.
It should be in around mid-June.
Mid-June?
Somewhere around there. If everything falls into place with the weather, which we're getting decent weather, it could.
Winter storm watch in Newfoundland today.
Yes, snow here for Monday.
I have something other than that, but so Mike can maybe leave. There's a couple of questions that people have phoned me about, and I think I know the answer, but you could tell the public through the TV what's happening. Sidewalks. We annually do our 4-foot sidewalks, the 5-foot machine we cut into the lawns, the boulevards. Is the town planning on going around and fixing those?
Yeah, we
ruts?
are fixing it. And just for clarification, the sidewalk unit is about 52 inches.
Okay.
So it is smaller than the sidewalks that we're replacing. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
It is smaller. But it's when we can't see the limits of the sidewalk.
Oh,
is
that's
when
what
we
it is.
start to wander, or when we actually need more room and we widen the sidewalks in the wintertime is when that happens. We're actually in the middle of actually Palmerston's getting completed here right now with the spring cleanup. There will be some extra topsoiling and stuff happening, but then we're moving to Hairston.
Will that be on a complaint basis, Mike, or will you try and?
We're trying to do everything as we go. Try to finish off a town. If we miss an area, it's not that we're probably just not aware of.
Just a matter of them calling and saying we've got a rut.
Yeah.
The second one is tree cutting. Have we got any kind of system for tree cutting? Because every spring we cut trees and people phone me up and say, why are they cutting this tree? And I'll say, I don't know.
It is primarily complaint based, but we do not cut trees down for cosmetic reasons or if there's nothing wrong with the tree. There has to be something structurally wrong with it. Like it's cracked, it's dying. There's got to be some kind of hazard to the general public. That's the only reason why we're
sight
doing
lines
that.
or anything like that. Would that have anything to do with it?
It would, but it's got to have something else, because then like a lot of the sight lines, the tree's been there for 100 years. If we wait another 2 until the life's done, it's probably not going to make any difference.
So who's making the choice on whether the trees are bad or good? Or
well, like I say, it's normally complaint based. They'll call in, we verify it's a town tree.
Okay.
And then once we've been notified of a situation, we have to either, we have that certain timeline to have it corrected or removed, right? So those ones get dealt with primarily. It seems like every time we're out there to inspect one tree, you look to the next one and, that one needs to come down too.
I see there's several trees down across our community, so
yes.
I just wanted to, and every time they phone me, I wanted to be able to answer the question.
Yeah, and even like right now to go along with that, it's the spring. We're seeing a lot of the dead wood up in the trees here right now. As soon as the leaves start to come out, the canopies get heavier, then the trees become even more dangerous as well. So
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Mayor Bridge.
Well, it's a good question, Councillor Elliott, but I wonder if you have that kind of a question, you would go to the staff and have them do a report. I think and I think Mike did a good job of answering it.
Yes.
But I think there is concern out there when some people like trees not to be cut, other people want them cut.
Yeah.
And not only that, we have other people involved with Westerio cutting trees as well. So maybe it would be ideal that through you, Chair Turton, that maybe this time of year, maybe it would be good for the staff to come back with a tree report, because and what and why we do it and everything. And so we have it out there to the public.
Yep.
So that rather than, it was a good question, but I'm just saying, if you have that, let us know and we'll get that onto the agenda so that it becomes a little fuller. I mean, in fairness to Mike, you answered it well, but you might want to talk to Brian, you might want to talk to other people and make sure that here's our policy. And we haven't reviewed it, I don't believe, our tree policy, that I can't remember when we've actually, other than on a complaint basis, and we said, this is why we do it, but it's on a complaint basis. So maybe it'd be good for the public to have that report out there and we can get it out to people. And
I'm not sure where we have it.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. Can we do that, Gord? Can you take that under advisement? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an annual item to do.
Yeah, and likely, earlier. Yeah.
And review the tree policy.
Mike, thank you for answering the extra questions. Appreciate it. I'll pass the chair back to our mayor. Thank you.
Good. Other items. Who have I got? Ron, do you want to do yours now? And
Sure. As I say, mentioned before when Bruce was here, it's I can't announce the Celebrate Ontario grant because they have an official press release for that, but it's really, really nice. No, I didn't say the amount or anything like that.
It's on Twitter.
So
on Twitter.
I know. Trust me, I'm having trouble being patient with that whole thing. But anyways, I would proudly announce that the musical ride is going to be coming to the Clown Match, I believe, for 3 days. This is really a first, and we're now going to the CKNX. Mr. Cork has we've promised them the first dibs on the press release on that, so that could be.
Well, again.
So what, I should
Kat, no, you can
Pat,
write it.
Pat, you can't write anything.
No, please.
Ron, you're digging a hole here.
You
Go ahead and do whatever you want.
No, it's a great news.
But the Kathy was going to phone somebody at CKNX this afternoon and have that done. So I told her I was going to announce it here tonight. And also, the second thing I want to say is that it's been a tough week for me, and the best wishes from everybody here and the public has been phenomenal, and I want to thank everybody.
And just on I know Kathy sent out a blurb, just so that when you're doing the reporting, the town of Minto didn't actually get this money. I don't want people to think we've got the money. It was the
Ontario Plowmen's Association
they put the grant in and got it. For some reason, it came out that town of Minto got it, and I didn't want to take all the barbs that I was getting it down in.
Well, I'm sure
down in the county today, where they're saying, "Oh yeah, you guys are trying to 41. We only got like 5." Okay, well we really didn't get it. That's something that the plowing match does every year, right? But it's great news. Okay, who else had something? Oh, David. I'll go this way and then this way.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bridge. I just wanted to announce again that Friday night there's still tickets available for the Maitland Valley Fundraising Gala. And also, I still have a couple tickets. And also Saturday, April 30th, don't forget the Green Legacy Day. It's at the town office here at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Just an add to that, then up in Clifford later that day, they're planting a tree. So if anybody wants to see a tree planted. And the duck races, yeah.
And
duck races.
yeah.
Okay, very good.
Just a quick thing just a reminder, the Business Achievement Awards, next Wednesday night, April 27th at 7 p.m. at the Legion. Belinda has tickets. And, no, in Harriston, I'm sorry.
Yep. No.
So a couple things coming up. The 15th annual radiothon
Yeah.
is set to go on May the 12th. If you think that that's an odd announcement for this time of year, you're right, it is, because up until now they have always been held in the fall. But anyways, there was a need to change it. So that will be carried on CKNX AM 920 continuously, and on 101.7 The One and 94.5 Classic Rock intermittently. They'll be reporting updates. So that is a way to support our local hospital, and that will be hosted by Buzz Reynolds and Beverly Hood. And another opportunity to support the Palmerston District Hospital, the gala, which is usually held in May, will again be held in May.
Yes.
On the 28th. It's the 16th annual Starlight Gala. Cocktails are at 5, dinner's at 6:30. It is at the Palmerston Community Center. Last year, over $240,000 was raised, and there were several pieces of equipment, including an ultrasound machine, purchased with that fundraising money. In 2016, the project is a picture archiving communication system, which is PACS for short, and it allows the storage and sharing of pictures from various medical imaging sources. I didn't make that up. I copied that from somewhere. And so just a couple of opportunities to support our local hospital.
I'm last.
Yes, Ron.
Thanks.
Well, unless somebody else wants to.
You want to be last?
Thanks. Just a couple of things. June 11th, Splash Bash for the Lions Club, and the Splash Bash, for those who don't know, is where we invite the public to come to the Lions Park, and we have water games, and we're having face painting and such like, and clowns and all kinds of things for kids to do. Plus we have a food booth where we give away hamburgers and drinks and such likes to the public. The mayor generously donates about $500. Is that
Yep.
okay? Or $250?
$500.
$500.
Oh, unless you cash $500. A couple of years, I
He
don't know.
donates $500 to supplying the food for that event. It's something we feel we give back to the community. Community is always given to the Lions Club and given to the community to help out. We thought it's a chance for them, the kids, to come and enjoy. They also get into the pool for nothing, which the town supplies, and of course our splash park and all the amenities of the park. So that's going to be a big day, and I've got quite an announcement too. It's almost up there with the ride, just that close. We've got Lulu's, of course, on the June 25th. We have our party in the park, and our second group coming up to them is the Drew Moore and his brother, and they used to be brothers from other mothers, but now they've changed their name to something else. But they're young kids out of Drayton area that are just phenomenal, and we've got an up and coming group that's just I think you'll all know them, and I don't even know the name of the band yet because he hasn't told me, but his name is Al Carr.
Oh yeah,
Al Carr, our local recreation, has a band out of Mount Forest, and they actually played for the opening of the Patriots, and I heard them. They're very, very good. So if you want to come out and enjoy music at Party in the Park, Al Carr will be leading off him and his band will be leading off the event.
I think Al's going to have a naming our band competition
at
night.
So it's not quite as good as the physical ride.
Well, you might want to call. Al's been working hard for 15 years on this.
Yes.
He's finally coming out of
getting
it.
his bass guitar out there.
He's been playing the Royal in Mount Forest.
In Fergus and Legions and stuff. So
yep, all exciting.
Yeah.
And just on that, just wanted to remind everybody that April the 30th, busy day, is also the kickoff for the IPM at Drayton Festival, and there's still tickets available, Ron?
Yep.
For both the afternoon and the evening, and it's great if we can get a good crowd out for that. I'm going to try to get to the afternoon. I got a thing at night, so I have to get some tickets for the afternoon.
I may not have written it down.
We're going to feature our Minto host farmers, the Snyders, that night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Oh, at the night one.
Yep.
Okay. All right, good. All right, moving along here. We're moved by Councilor Turton, second by Councilor Dirksen. The Committee of Whole convenes the regular council meeting. All in favor? All right. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Caldwell. The Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Turton, the bylaw number 2016-22 to authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to execute an agreement between the Township of Southgate and the Town of Minto and the Township of Wellington North with respect to the butter tart and buggies be introduced and read first and second, third time and passed open to council and seal of the corporation. All in favor? Let the buggies go. Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, the bylaw number 2016-23 to amend the fees and charges bylaw 2016-12 and to apply meter rates for the use of water and sewer be introduced and read first, second, and third time and passed open council and sealed with seal of corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Caldwell, second by Councilor Anderson, the bylaw number 2016-24 to authorize the purchasing of the property from the Palmerston Trail Association be introduced, read first, second, and third time and passed open council and sealed corporation. All in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Dirksen, the bylaw number 2016-26 to authorize the mayor and CEO clerk to execute a consulting engineering service agreement between the Corporation of Town of Minto and Triton Engineering Services Limited to be introduced and read first, second, and third time and passed open council and sealed corporation. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Caldwell, bylaw number 2016-27 to amend zoning of 5509 Highway 9 Minto be introduced and read in the first, second, and third time and passed over to council and sealed the corporation. Yep.
May I just have to say, again, option 1 or option 2?
Oh.
I know Mark had stated about option 2.
Oh, I think we.
More broader bylaw.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't have option. Do you just put option 2 in there? If that's option 1.
Option 2. Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody fine with that? Option 2?
Yes.
Okay, option 2. Okay. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Turton, the bylaw number 2016-28 to confirm actions of the council of the Corporation of Town of Minto be introduced and read first, second, and third time and passed open to council. Seal the corporation. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner. The Council of Town of Minto adjourned to meet again at the call of the mayor. All in favor? Thank you very much. A long meeting and.
Mayor Bridge, can you just remind us of the dates of the mayor's breakfast?
Oh,
Yes.
When are those dates?
7/14/28.
Yeah, 7th, 14th, and 28th. And the first one is in.
6/13 and
6,
26.
yeah. They're Fridays, right?
Friday.
Fridays.
The first one's the Gemstones.
Yep.
In
Must be
Clifford on the
June.
6th.
And then
In
Harry
Clifford,
Stones.
On the 13th.
And then
And the
Royal
Royal
Spoon.
Spoon on the 27th.
The 7th is is a Saturday, too.
Well, the 6th.
No,
We said
it's
the
the
6th. I
6th.
made mistakes. It's the 6th.
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Oh,
And
8 a.m. rather than
7:30, I think they are. Sorry, it's 7:30.
is what you
Yeah.
have on
Yeah.
the card.
Okay. I'll get Annaline to send it out to you.
13th,
And 20th?
27th.
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 Yeah.
And can I just interject a reminder about the Clifford? There's a firefighter's spaghetti supper on Friday as well in Clifford.
This Friday?
This Friday?
Okay. Thank you, Jean.
Okay.
See, I knew you'd come up with something.
I did with the help of my husband. The Minto, the firefighters.
They always have a
supper,
spaghetti supper.
Fundraiser.
Okay.
Spaghetti supper.
Yeah.
Clifford, Friday evening.
Okay.
There's just too many things. Every